Once again, I was going through Leo's work at zenhabits.net and I found a piece that applies very directly to trading. And I want to call this the not knowing path of being a trader. He did a little piece a bit ago. I was revisiting about being an entrepreneur, and it really applies to all businesses, and trading is a business. So I want to talk about some of the pieces that people get into. Again, this trap. We've kind of talked about this envy trap, and lots of people get into trading for the wrong reasons. They think that they can become very rich overnight. They think that they can become rich quickly and fast, and it's really not the case. And it's also the same thing if you're trying to run trading as a business and start this as a business operation. You need to really step back a little bit and consider that all of us really can't control too many outcomes. And one of the things that a lot of people try to control when it comes to trading is they have a very severe vision of their business and their trading business and the success of it. And if it falls off the track, they get a little bit behind. They also try to control the outcomes associated with goals. I want to make $2,000 a day. I want to make $500 a day. I want to make 10 points in ES a day. And this is not a linear business, as any business is not linear. So it's very difficult to set yourself up for failure and put those goals out there. Also, I think trading is much different than many businesses in that it's not, the more you do doesn't necessarily pay you more. Matter of fact, I truly believe that the less trading you do and the less activity you have around the markets, the more successful you will be. And also trying to control the outcomes as it comes to producing certain amounts, again, of money that you're making based upon how much you trade or certain metrics. Is really setting yourself up for failure. Unfortunately, the ability to control outcomes as a trader or in any business is really an illusion. There's not much you can control when it comes to markets. And this is something that I want to talk a little bit about as being a trader for 20 plus years. You really don't know how a trade is going to work out. The only thing that you really can control is the risk. And even that sometimes you have not total control. So the one thing that I want to talk about today is, again, accepting the fact that the unknown and the outcome of your trade doesn't necessarily shouldn't scare you, or at least you should embrace that unknownness or that fear that you're that maybe you grappling with as you become a better trader. Not knowing, for me, is what makes being a trader probably the most amazing job opportunity, I call it. And for me, trading is not really a job. It's something that I enjoy doing. It's a great game. I say this all the time. And being okay again with that unknownness is really something that you have to get around and embrace. So it can be liberating, and let's take a little bit of a look at some of the things that you can do when you want to embrace that unknownness that comes with trading. For most people, one of the biggest difficulties in trading is being wrong. But really, what is the worst thing that can that can happen with having a trade that you lose money on? If you've established risk parameters that really keep you in the game and allow you to come back and take the next trade over and over again, whether it's 1%, 2%, 5%, you have to establish that. But once you do that, if you are good with that risk level that you've set, there's really a million possibilities that can go right. And you know what if you can, again, limit that downside, you'll have, I think, less anxiety. So that's one of the things that I want to talk about as we consider this situation, is embracing that anxiety that comes with it. All right, so you shouldn't be tied to one trade. No one trade should really define you as a trader, good or bad. And I think that is really the best idea. So it's the little things that matter. It's just like I tell my boys out on the golf course, that last golf shot you took, whether it's great or whether it's poor, is not going to matter to the next one. So it's how you deal with both the good and the bad and moving forward that allows you to be good with the anxiety that comes with running a trading business. You have to be more honest with yourself. Admitting to yourself that you really don't know what's going to happen with this trade is probably the most honest approach that you can have. Hoping things will turn out the way that they want, obviously, is great, but honesty is much more important than hope. So be honest with yourself, know where your trade is, why you're taking the trade, into the trade, and that's going to be the best thing. Honesty with yourself. Again, the game of trading is not about me versus you or you versus the high frequency traders. It's me versus me versus the man in the mirror, and that's the most important thing that I think you need to look at. So how do you walk this path of not knowing what's going to happen with the trade? And here's some steps that I think you can follow to walk this path. Admit what you don't know. This obviously is the first step, but it's hard because we don't often want to admit that we don't know something. Again, it's that ego that we have to let go of. So we think we can will things to happen, but it's not true. Many things fail despite all the planning and all the narratives that we write and managing the trade, entering the trade. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. Watch for and number 2 is watch for the anxiety. When you start feeling anxious, and it'll always happen in life, as in trading, as in anything, raising children, in your relationship, probably numerous times in your day. When you feel this way, start to look inward for that source of anxiety. What do you think it is that is making you feel this anxiety? What are you hoping will happen that's making you anxious? This awareness is the key to everything. Number 3, tell yourself you'll be okay. You make a winning trade, you make a losing trade. Either way, you're going to be fine. You become aware of an outcome you're hoping for. Now tell yourself that it doesn't matter if that outcome if it happens. If it really doesn't matter, if we made up the story for ourselves, that all depends on it happening. It doesn't matter. No matter what happens, be content with the good, the bad, or the indifferent. You've got to get yourself into a spot. Again, another truism that I find on the golf course carries over into trading. Will you remember that bad topped golf shot you hit off the tee yesterday, just as you would a slip in a trading world, a bad trade that you made? Again, was it bad just because you stopped out and had a loss? That's not a bad trade. That's a perfect execution. Every trader is going to go through losing situations. Number 4, consider the worst case scenarios in your trading. What's the worst thing can happen with this trade? Well, if you know where your stop is, then that's the worst thing that can happen. Now, if you don't know why you're taking the trade and you don't know what's going to happen to it, then you don't have management of that situation. So don't worry about that loss in that trade. How bad is that worst case scenario? It shouldn't be that bad. If it's half to 1% to 2% of your overall trading capital, you're going to have to do that 50, 100 times in a row for you to lose your trading account. So again, consider the worst case scenarios. Know your principles. Why are you doing this business? Why are you trading for a living? Why are you trying to run a trading business? Take some time to think about what should guide you. If you aren't guided by trying to make something specific happen, you're not going to be tied to an outcome or a vision of the future you can't control. So step back, reflect. What drives you? Are you trading for the money? Are you trading for the freedom? Are you trading for other reasons? Why do you want to do this business? So think about this. Know your principles when you get into this game of trading. Act on your principles is number 6, not on your goals or your detailed plans. My plans and my narratives change all the time. I have to accept that the market is always going to trade. But I will be right sometimes, I will be wrong sometimes, but I'm doing this because it is the right thing for me, the right thing for my family, and don't let other people's ideas and visions control you on a day-to-day basis, moment to moment. Listen, we all go through drawdown periods. You got to get comfortable with that. Act on your principles, not on your goals. Breathe, and don't forget to smile. This is very important. I always say this to partners that come trade with me. Don't forget to take a deep breath, and don't forget to exhale. Sometimes you just have to breathe in and out and smile, grin and bear it, because that's all it can be. In the end, not knowing sure can be scary, but it can be liberating and quite profound if you just let it be, to quote the Fine Four from Manchester. Anyways, the point here is you cannot control the outcomes ultimately of your trading business. What you can control is dealing and feeling and letting those emotions, again, let that anxiety be, let it live there and live through it, breathe through it. Don't forget to breathe and smile. We'll see you on the other side. Peace.